Welcome to Daily 5 for Wednesday, April 30th, 2025. I don't know how detectable it was, but I almost forgot the date, the month. I almost said May. I don't know if you heard that, but anyway, just full transparency. Almost botched it. Anyway, that's not what today's 5 is about. Today's 5 is about a game. I guess this would be considered, I've seen a couple descriptions, but I guess it's a solo, well, no, actually it doesn't have to be, but a tabletop role-playing game titled Void 1680 AM. And this is a game that came out, I think from what I saw, it said 2023, although I did see some conflicting things that maybe it was out earlier, so I don't know if this is like a version release type thing. But in any event, it's not brand new this year. That's the important point. But it is a game that basically is, to me, trying to simulate a blending of the old Art Bell Coast to Coast AM radio show with overtly supernatural or strange fiction elements from something like Welcome to Night Vale. And I'm a fan of both of those things. So I don't know how I never heard of this before now, or maybe I just didn't look into it further enough, but it came up somewhere. And when I read the description, I thought, ooh, this has some potential because as far as I can tell, now I'm going to buy it. It's only $10, and I think there's some free expansions for it as well, but I have to get it. But, the gist of it, from what I can tell, and some of the videos I've watched, is you are playing a late night AM DJ. I think you get to pick your call signs or call letters, whatever they call them, the station number, all this stuff. You get to pick all of it. And then you play not only the DJ in terms of constructing a playlist and providing the DJ narration, but you also play the roles based on, I think, a deck of cards, and you basically select cards and then it tells you what type of caller it is. But you're also playing the callers. So you have to do both sides of that. This is, as far as I can tell, again, from what I've seen and what I've read, you are recording all this as a radio broadcast. And in fact, there is a whole list of people who have done these before. And this sounds so fascinating to me because I have such a soft spot for live radio, and particularly this kind of late night stuff. I remember the Coast to Coast broadcasts, the old Art Bell ones, not old, but the older ones. I think it's still on with a different host now. But I remember listening to some of those as I was driving around, and I would listen to them when I was in college. Like I would find copies of them that were floating around. They're all over the place on YouTube and other spots now. It was a little harder to find them back then if you weren't actually hearing them live or being able to find them on things like Napster, that type of thing. Yes, they were on there. In the early days of sharing, Art Bell was there. Coast to Coast was available to get. And I remember loving those broadcasts because they were such a specific type of radio that even at the time you just didn't get a lot of. He would just let these really interesting at times, very weird, very paranoid, very conspiracy-minded individuals call in, and they would just talk about whatever they felt like they were seeing, what they believed in, what was really going on underneath the surface. I mean, this was from an era where the idea of conspiracies were fun, the X-Files days, that type of thing, before it became, unfortunately, what it is now. When conspiracy theories of the ludicrous kind were properly put aside and patted on the head and gone, yeah, we got it, sure. Say whatever you want into the corner. Nobody's actually paying attention. Again, unlike a lot of things that go on today. So this Void 1680 AM game sounds really interesting to me. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be any good at it. I don't know if it's actually something that's workable. I have to get a few things. For example, I think you need a 6-sided dice. I don't have one of those, so I'll have to get one. I don't think I have one of those anyway. But outside of that, I mean, I think I'm going to give this thing a try because it sounds really fascinating. So I know we have people who play board games, or I don't even know, I guess this isn't even considered a board game, who play these types of games. Maybe that's a better way to say it. And so I'd be really curious if anybody who listens has ever messed around with this game, because I'd really be curious. It sounds so interesting. And it seems like it has so much for potential, because I like building playlists, and I like the idea of, like the weird, like this is so somewhat suited to me, at least in the broad strokes. Now, in actually doing it, I might find that I suck at it, or I'm just not all that good, or it doesn't actually play the way that it seems to. But the potential just seems immense. And there's a lot of people who really love it. Like I said, these playlists are around. There's a lot of them. So if you play this game, I'd be very curious what your experience is. I'm going to mess around with it. And believe me, once I do for a bit, you will hear what I think of it. But sounds good to me. So we'll see how it goes. Later.